Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am Carex. We're going to be doing some sort of getting started prep work for an England opening moves. In this episode, we're going to be basically looking at some of the strengths and weaknesses of the country, some of the opportunities that we have, some of the threats, because there's definitely some threats to our ability to thrive as England. England is a very powerful country that has a number of different obstacles going on internally, externally, all kinds of things. And essentially, we've done actually a full complete tutorial playthrough for England, and I just wanted to kind of basically make this for a little bit. Though that playthrough is for complete beginners, right? So if you're a complete beginner, I would highly recommend checking that out because we're not going to be teaching the game here, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be highlighting the process of making decisions and formulating a plan and formulating a strategy for a country. What we do here is a process. We're going to be looking at the world through the lens of England, but we're going to be able to apply that to any country in the world. And we've done this. We've done these sort of getting started or SWOT analysis sort of videos for a number of different countries, including a lot of random countries I've never even played before. But I wanted to go back and I wanted to hit all the ones that we've done beginner playthroughs for, like Portugal, Ottomans, Muscovy, Castile, and England, and hopefully more in the future as we expand the library of resources that we are doing on the channel to help people learn this game. Basically, everything we do on our channel is basically for newer players and intermediate players. England, though, is actually not a particularly amazing beginner nation. I think a lot of people that get this game maybe think, "Oh, I think England would be fun." You know, I'm English or I'm from the UK or who knows, right? Whatever draws people to England. Just knowing the history of naval dominance and trade empire and controlling just an obscene amount of the world's population at one point at the height of the English empire, right? In terms of governing over a large chunk, I mean to say, not necessarily controlling, but I guess in some case, this game, of course, does cover some of the darker sides of history and humanity, right? And it's important to learn that history and stuff, and that's what these games let us do, and explore them and stuff, and also make a new world and stuff that may be a better world. Who knows? Anyways, uh, going on with England here. Basically, we're going to be going through and just sort of figuring out what the situation is. In fact, England, boom, looming disaster right at the start. War of the Roses is something that is, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. There's not much that we can do about this, but essentially this is something we're going to realize when we unpause the game and start doing the opening moves. What we're going to be doing, though, in this episode is we're going to be looking at the economy, we're going to be looking at the estates, we're going to be looking at some of the diplomatic situation, and just sort of setting the country up so that we can then unpause the game and start playing the game as England, and sort of enacting the strategy and the tactical plan that we develop in this area. So if we look basically at the British Isles here, we have Scotland, who's not really much of a threat, but they are being guaranteed by France. So if we attack Scotland, France will get involved. France doesn't look very powerful. It actually kind of looks like we're even giving them a little bit of a bear hug right now, with this land down here that we do control in the French mainland, European mainland. But for the most part, France is bound to take these lands back. They actually do have permanent cores on all of this. And France also has a ton of little vassal duchy subjects, essentially. So if we were to attack France, we'd be fighting France and their allies like Orleans and Armagnac and Foix and all the, whatever, all these different little, I mean, they have like 6 or 7 of these things. It's insane. So France is actually like militarily a very proud military tradition in that country in itself. They have fantastic soldiers and stuff like that, just from a historical perspective, and a good standing army. But on top of all that, they have all these little subjects that are going to add and bolster their numbers too. So it'd be very, very hard to get down here and actually sort of deal with France. What we're essentially going to want to do is basically just hold them off, play defensively and hold them off. We're not going to be able to make gains against them in the short term. So attacking Scotland is going to be kind of out of the question. However, Ireland is basically just ripe for the taking. A bunch of tiny little countries over here that essentially have no protection. They're not going to be able to get an ally like France or anyone of note, really. This is basically just a big scramble for Ireland, except we're the only ones here to gobble it all up. We can actually grab a couple of these guys diplomatically annex a few of these guys. I think we actually start the game with an alliance with Portugal. Okay, so we have that. We might want to maintain that or not, Just kind of depends on what our goals are. We could try to also pick up the alliance with Castile. Castile would, of course, help us against France. I think that's a done deal. Castile likes us. That's a done deal. The only thing I'm thinking alternatively would be Austria. Austria likes us. That's interesting. Austria and Castile or just Austria? Austria and Castile or just Austria? That's the question, right? See, Portugal, it's like, do we really care that much about Portugal? I don't know. I don't know. Let's get Austria for sure. Let's get Austria for sure. And, man, Castile. Heck, if we're going to make it easy on ourselves, let's do it. Let's do Castile and Austria. We actually have a marriage now. We have a queen. We start with a 0-0-0, so we're in dire straits right now. We don't need to be focusing on diplomacy. We probably need to be focusing on military or admin. Stability could be an issue because of the stability less than 1. We're gaining some progress on the War of the Roses because stability is less than 1. Yeah, I'm going to focus on admin right now. Try to bolster things at home a little bit. I think we actually can mothball our forts. I'm just noticing we have 3 forts in England. They're mostly defensive forts, so I think we want them all. And one's in London, so that one doesn't hurt, having that one in London. We're definitely going to be rivaling France, though. That's a done deal. France and Castile, are they? No, they have not rivaled each other. France, who have you rivaled? Burgundy. We could actually probably end up allying Burgundy, except they've now rivaled... we picked Austria instead of Burgundy. That's fine. We picked Austria instead of Burgundy. We could rival Burgundy if we wanted to. I mean, ideally, it'd be nice to get this land to consolidate this northern, merge Calais with Normandy here and get that grouped up. That wouldn't be a bad thing. Scotland's going to be a rival for a long time, no doubt. I think we're allied to Castile. Or we're going to try to get the alliance. Denmark, ooh, Denmark's a possibility, but they're a little far away to care about them right now. So I think Burgundy's the no-brainer here. That'll help build up a positive relationship with Austria as well. We have Parliament. We have not picked a debate, and we have too few seats, so we need to allocate out some Parliament seats here as part of our special government type. We're the only government in the world that starts off as a parliament. We have a special, where does it show us in here exactly what we got going on here? The English monarchy, which actually enables the parliament, which is really, really cool. Very interesting and unique government there. But the parliament's pretty powerful because we can start these different debates. We can get sailors, we can reduce advisor costs, land maintenance modifier. None of these are particularly amazing, to be honest. Manpower would have been the best thing we could have got here. Man, that is a bummer. Yeah, this is all not useful. If we could have got the manpower one, that would have been incredible. I guess we go for this one. I don't think we're going to spend too much to get that, though. We do need to add more seats, though. So what provinces are already added? Kent's been added. London, of course, has been added. This is a good one to add. It's 14 dev. I think we're just going to run around and just add the ones that are higher dev. I think all of our high dev land should be down here, basically. And presumably we could actually, Maine, I would keep Maine. Although Maine, here's the thing, Maine, we might be losing Maine. We might be losing Maine. I guess the type of resource matters too when it comes to this because it increases production. That's 21 down here. Ooh, nice. Oh, we've already added enough. That's fine. That's fine. You know about the looming disaster. Our economy is quite strong at the moment. We have a good, very good, strong navy. That's our huge advantage in all of this. Our navy is amazing. We also collect trade in a fantastic trade node. We're pushing down from here. We're pulling from Lubeck and pushing from the North Sea. I think there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Although I'm actually wondering, do we want to shift from North Sea, tugging from the North Sea, to pulling up from Champagne? We got 16% of about 4 total ducats here. For here we have 7% of 8 ducats, and it would potentially hurt France. Right now this is pushing down, where that's not good. I think we do that. I think we transfer trade power from the North Sea up, and we try to push this up. Because right now we're pushing a lot of it down. I think that's going to give us more money. And it's going to hurt France a little bit too. This is where France actually collects its money. We still have an extra diplomatic relationship slot. I think we'll use that in Ireland to do diplomatic conquest in Ireland. Or we could actually just use it to just build up a claim. I think we're gonna want claims on Brittany. I think we're gonna want to take Brittany, part of it at least, and we'll want claims over here too. So that's what our diplomats will get busy doing. The war out here in Ireland is basically free unless Scotland starts to take it. We could try to prevent that by basically just focusing on these northern ones first. There's one fort in Scotland in Desmond that's worth noting. So if we can take that, then we won't have to deal with forts in Ireland anymore, which is nice. It is a forest fort too, so it's not the worst fort in the world. Economy's doing well. So if we look at our missions, actually, it's a little late for us to be looking at this, but we should look at this and try to get a sense of how this can maybe guide our decision making here. Levy the troops. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. We get free permanent claims on all of Ireland and Scotland. We gain a subjugation CB on Scotland, which would be absolutely incredible. This requires having an army size of 100% and a manpower of 60% level. Right now, our manpower is like not good. It's probably barely not even 30, maybe 30%. And of course, we're nowhere near building up to our entirety of our force limit, which is at 37. So we need to spend 8,000, then we'll have to build up to 60,000. So it's going to be a while before we actually get this done. But that means we don't have to really worry too much about we get free permanent claims on all this. That's going to be fine. Over here we have more than 40 total ports. Navy size. Okay, so this is just going to be expanding our ports, right? Having more provinces that are on the coast. Great. Complete the War of the Roses disaster or reach the Age of Reformation without triggering. Wow, that would be insane. That'd actually be kind of crazy if we could actually do that. But no, I think it's going to trigger. I think it's going to trigger. This will actually give us permanent claims. If we get to war with France, we'll get permanent claims on the Paris area. I think we're just going to give up. We're just going to give this up. I don't think we're going to try to fight France. That's the easy thing to do as a player, is just give them Maine. We agree to give them Maine diplomatically. Fine, let's give it to them. And then essentially from there, we're going to... Man, these are not good forts. These are not good forts up here, but I think any fort is better than no fort. We're spending a lot of money just trying to maintain forts. So the 100 Years' War, I think we're going to end that by giving them Maine. And then we'll just have to build up sort of like... we'll just have to kind of build up and posture. And hopefully we'll be able to attack France while they're distracted with Burgundy maybe. Or while we can call in Castile and Austria to help us with them. And that should make it a lot easier to beat up on France. Either way, we are going to get permanent claims on the Champagne and Ile-de-France area. So that'll be really, really powerful and really, really good. We are working towards forming the British nation, which is pretty easy. We just need to grab some bits up here, I think, and then we'll be able to form Great Britain, essentially, for what that's worth. We have a pretty good general right now. Right now we're paying for our armies. I'm just thinking, what are we going to do first? Are we going to attack Brittany first? Are we just going to kind of chill out? We fit everybody in London. Yeah, we can fit everybody in London to drill. So we could do that. We could just be drilling in London. I don't know exactly how bad this is going to be when it fires. If we get an air, it might not fire. I don't know. I think that's going to fire, though. I think that will fire. And then apparently later on we might have a civil war on our hands. So we have the clergy and we have the burghers, and that's because we have the parliament gets rid of the nobility. It's kind of a bummer because the nobility is pretty good at actually getting up that... Yeah, let's make sure we actually seize Crownland, though. Cheaper advisors. If we can get a manpower recovery advisor, that would probably be the best thing we could get right now. We might want to go through and actually look at state edicts and see if we can boost manpower with those. This could give us prestige. I don't know if that would help us right this second or not. One of these will give us cheaper light ships as well, which is good for England because we'll want to continue to build light ships. We already have the largest heavy fleet in the world, so naval dominance is not an issue for us. What is this? Add 28 local autonomy to centers of trade in the English Channel. We gain 3 mercantilism. Whoa. This is kind of an interesting one. I'm wondering if that burns away or if that holds. If that's like a minimum autonomy on all of those until we revoke this off. Exclusive trade rights, that's interesting. But I don't know if we're going to mess with that or not. So we got the estates situated there. Good enough, I think. That's the thing, we're already making good money, but we could be drilling or we could be not paying for the army. Kind of 2 different options there, but I like the money that we're making at the moment. National manpower modifier. We want this guy, but he's way too expensive. Is he? Is he too expensive? 4 ducats a month. 4 ducats a month is pretty expensive. This discipline guy's could be good too. I don't know. I guess we're just going to have to make do without him. Minus national unrest. I mean, that could be good. Or, you know, with the disaster that's going on here. Of course, all of our country is Catholic. Actually, Pope might be our final ally. That could be good. Pope does like us. Although that means that we would not be able to diplomatically vassalize any of the Irish miners unless we went over a diplomatic limit. Which, I don't know, maybe we could. Maybe we could. I think for the most part we're pretty situated and we're kind of ready to unpause here. We could mothball these ships as well. It's going to be a while before we fight France. I don't think we're gonna give them Maine, so. Yeah, what the heck? Let's mothball the heavies. Let's mothball the heavies. That'll save us a bunch of money. Presumably about 3 ducats a month, or maybe just 1.5 ducats a month. I think we're paying 3 ducats a month for them right now, so it'll be half cost. We do have money, and we could be training more troops, which will just cost us more money and burn the manpower. We need that manpower, and we need the troops to go up in order to finish that mission. Let us actually get some light ships with our initial funds. Instead, at the reduced cost. The other thing we can do too, this will definitely cost us money, right? But we can come down here and we can increase enlistment. 25% more local manpower modifier. And this is basically going to be exchanging that's really not that expensive. How much are we paying him for the entire country in state maintenance? 3 ducats. I think we do this in our higher development provinces, honestly. No, what the heck? Let's go all out. I think we want that extra manpower recovery, even if it makes a small difference. I think it'll be worth it. We're paying a few ducats a month to get more manpower. I think that's an okay trade. And then we'll be able to shift these over either to something else or just remove those eventually. So using the state edicts there to get a little bit of a bump. Alternatively, I mean, we can actually burn development for manpower, but I don't think we're to worry that much. All right, guys, I think England is set up. We know that there's going to be a war triggered with France because they're going to basically demand Maine, and then we'll decide to give it to them. So that's not the war, because we don't want to do that because that's an aggressive war on our part. And that means that France gets to call their allies in. And I'm not saying you can't win that war, but I think if you win that war, you actually get to PU France or something crazy like that. So it's like if you can win that, it's awesome. But if I'm not crazy, I think there might be other opportunities for us to the forced union causes Belgium and France. We'll get this anyways, so we'll already get an opportunity to do that essentially in the future. So yeah, there's a subjugate France mission. It's something that we can do regardless of whether we do it immediately or not. We're getting a claim on Brittany. That's a good point of attack. We can, of course, attack Ireland. We'll get free permanent claims on all this up here if we just build our manpower back up to basically max and then build up our army a little bit. So we might be kind of just hanging out, dealing with this internal disaster for a bit. Just trying to get economy and build up our economy. I guess actually what we should do is maybe we should make this guy... Wow, Henry the Fourth, or Henry the Sixth, is actually amazing at sieging, which is kind of interesting. So hopefully maybe he'll die just on the drill, right? Because he's 000, so he's not a good leader. So we want him gone. We're going to be building alliances with Castile, Austria, maybe the Pope. We have one with Portugal. We can keep that or get rid of that. Doesn't really matter either way. And we're well on our way for a good opening moves segment as England. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one where we will be doing opening moves for England and executing on some of our setup and our plans.